speaking of cancel culture, a New York Post op-ed says it's really keeping people from voicing any doubts they have about the effectiveness of lockdowns. Comment Todd Pyro, Fox and Friends' first co-host. First of all, Todd, it's Pyro, not Piro. I just wanted to emphasize that. Pyro, not Piro.
No worries, sir.
You know how long we've known each other, but sometimes the mind reels. All right. Tell us
I miss seeing you in the hallways, my friend.
I know. Well, soon we'll be back in the hallways together. But
yes.
This whole cancel culture thing that's going on in our society right now, it's not just the United States, by the way. It's happening worldwide. What do you make of it?
Right. Well, that Carol Markowitz article that you referenced in the New York Post is fascinating because the people that were reaching out to her were uber New York liberals who felt, look, I want my child to go to school. I want the schools to be reopened, but I'm too scared to let my voice be known because I could lose my job. My child could be ostracized. Think about that. These are uber liberal people who believe in progressivism, but yet they're worried about being canceled for sharing some opinion that doesn't go along with the groupthink, that doesn't go along with the norms of social control that we're all forced to live with now. And then you hear the story that Lauren Simonetti just referenced. That is frightening. And we were just talking in the break about your grandchild, my new child. I don't want to live in a world where she could make a mistake at 15, albeit a word that individual should not have said, but could have her entire life ruined on the whim of somebody else. These are frightening times, and something has to be done about it. Otherwise, we're going down a path that harkens back to Nazi Germany and other bad times in world history.
Well, we did do something about it. Americans elected Donald Trump in 2016 partly because of the fact that he was fed up with that whole political correctness, cancel culture attitude. There was major pushback. He still got 74 million votes in the election in November. Right. I mean, that's a huge number of people in America who are fed up with that, and their voice deserves to be heard. But how will it play out in a Biden administration that is old school as far as these things go?
What would be interesting to watch is how the Biden administration regulates tech, because the reason we're seeing this cancel culture is 100%, and I'm willing to put my money behind that, because of Twitter, Facebook, institutions like that, where this very, very vocal minority, what's even less than a minority, makes this big hullabaloo, and it ends up ruining people's lives. Look, we're Americans. We're going to have disagreements. That's healthy in a democracy. What we can have is a few people determining they're going to go on a mission to ruin someone's life, and then because of the platform of Twitter, of Facebook, of other social media, they're able to do that. I'm going to put my lawyer hat on here, 10 seconds. I wonder if down the line there's some sort of cause of action for instances like this where you're not a public person, but somebody takes it upon themselves to make it their business to ruin your life, ruin your financial interests, ruin your future. It's going to be interesting to see if some ramification comes of that.
By the way, they call the people that push this view, the cancel culture view, the political correct view, they call themselves progressives. There's nothing progressive about this. It's completely regressive.
100%.
We've seen this story in the past, and usually it presages very bad times, if not totalitarian times. I hope we don't end up there, but we got to leave it at that. Todd Pyro, great to see you, my friend. Thank you, and congratulations on your baby. That's wonderful news.
Likewise. Right back to you, Grandpa.
A lot of good news came out of 2020, despite the bad news. We want to emphasize that.